All right, so it is time for us to move on to the spine. Now, we have a ton to cover here, so we're not going to spend as much time in each exercise, but what I do want to touch on with the spine, you have three regions. The lumbar spine, which is the low back, thoracic spine, which is the mid back, and the cervical spine, which you probably just know as the neck. So each of these areas is a little bit unique in the structure of the vertebrae and how the joints move. So for instance, in the lumbar spine is really good at flexing forward and extending back. And that's because the joints are oriented in this angle so that they move very good up and down. When you get over to the mid-back, now the mid-back or thoracic spine has a unique feature, right? And that's the rib cage and all these organs. So the rib cage will actually limit the motion of the thoracic spine in a lot of regards. But the thoracic spine is actually, they're kind of faced like this. So what they do really well is laterally flex and then rotate. And they actually extend pretty well. So the thoracic spine is a little bit of a jack of all trades. Now, again, repetitive action. A lot of people spend a lot of time in flexion. And so, again, not that I don't like to demonize posture, because I know a lot of people that have perfect posture that also have pain and dysfunction. But if you spend a ton of time in this position, you really want to make sure that you're just getting movement variability in and training out of that position. Now, the cervical spine is unique. Obviously, the first two vertebrae kind of sit on each other like this, and they pivot around each other. They rotate very well, but you can also extend, flex, laterally flex. That's by far the most mobile portion of our spine, mostly because they dictate where our eyes and our ears are. So we need to be able to look really quickly, and that's sort of like an evolutionary benefit. So let's get this started. First thing we're going to do, hands and knees. We are going for a cat-cow. My yogis out there probably understand and know this movement better than any. Here's the key though, right? I don't want you to just crank through up and down. I want you to really try and segment each section. So the first thing I'm going to do is round my back. I'm going to tuck my hips underneath. If I have a belt buckle, tucking it up into my belly button, rounding the mid-back, and now tucking my chin in. I'm going to do the exact reverse, extend my low back, arch through my mid-back, look up towards the ceiling. Segment, come back. We're going to go through this a few times. I'm going to avoid tucking my chin, everybody, just so that I don't bump up against the microphone here. But you guys are going to continue to do that. I'll just kind of crank away at the low back and mid-back. Going to go for about another 10 seconds. Really squeezing as hard as you can, getting that full range of motion. So squeeze your glutes as you tuck in. Perfect. So again, you can stay on that for a while. Oh, and the reason I have a chair here, we're going to use a chair, couch, any sort of elevated object a little bit down the line. So next thing we're going to do, laying face down. You can either be in a push-up position or with your elbows out in front. You are going to take your leg, bend it to 90 degrees on one side, and then you are going to swing over, tap your toe or heel, and come back. Other leg up, tap your toe or heel on the ground, and come back. And remember, these are completely limited based on how you feel. If you're feeling like you're losing mobility on the front side, just stop it right there and then come on back. Good. We're going to roll through another few of these. Feel free to stop the video. This tends to be a fan favorite. For some reason, not that many people are exposed to this movement. It gets a lot of good rotation through the mid-back, low back. Tends to make people feel pretty good. One more touch. Good. So now one that people are probably very familiar with. Flip over onto your back. We're going to drive the leg up and over. Tap the toe, come back. Good. So I'm not going to do the hold position, basically where you're just kind of staying here, only because I really like to use the time that we have to incorporate more movement. Right? They say motion is lotion for the joints, and I hate saying that to people. I think it's super cheesy, but I guess it's a crowd pleaser. Good. Bend up. And again, what you can do is vary the angle at your hip. So if you're having a little discomfort with extreme flexion, just bring it down here. Roll it on over. Try and keep this back shoulder connected. That's how you're going to get the maximum stretch through that low back area. One more on each side. Perfect. All right. Let me toss my hat back on here. So here's where we're going to use that chair, couch, something that you got. I'll give you a little bit of time if you need to go find it. So this is primarily going to stretch our lats and thoracic spine area into that extension that I was talking about. If you have any shoulder limitations, you can adjust your position, keep your arms flat instead of keeping them up. That'll take some stress off the shoulder. So here's what you're going to do. Elbows on the chair or surface, move your knees back, and you're going to let yourself sink down, push your chest in. We're going to count breaths here. So inhale, exhale, push your chest to the floor. We're going to do 5. Out, that's 4. 3, every exhale, push that chest to the floor, dig your elbows slightly in, kind of arch your mid-back. You should feel it open up a decent amount. Good, and now we're going to do 5 reps. So breathe in at the top, sink down, push your chest to the ground. Great job. Back up, come on down, push your chest to the ground. Good. Perfect. And we're going one more. That tends to be another fan favorite. And like I said, the rib cage tends to limit. And what does the rib cage do? It moves up and down with movement of the lungs. So a lot of breathing when you're trying to lengthen or get into extension or mobilize the thoracic spine or mid-back can be really helpful. So find that susceptible position like we just found at the bottom here and breathe. A lot of dysfunction or pain that can have in the upper back there, like the stickiness, can actually come from where the rib cage articulates with the spinal joints. So not only do the spinal joints connect with each other via their, they're called Z joints for short, zygapophyseal, not that you needed to know that, but the rib cage actually articulates with the vertebrae as well. And so a lot of times we can do like a quick maneuver that moves those a little bit, but even movements like this tend to help it, as will this next one. So you're going to take a chair, an elevated surface, whatever, it doesn't have to be a chair, couch, anything. You are going to cross at first your right leg over your left, knees together. Give yourself just a little bit of a hug. You can go a little bit more aggressive if you can, if you have the shoulder mobility. Now, if my right is crossed over my left, I'm going to turn over my right side, getting some thoracic rotation. My golfers, rotational athletes, baseball, tennis, lacrosse, this one's for you. Again, this is a motion that a lot of people don't often do. So even if you do play one of those sports, say you play it once, twice a week, other times of the week, you're really not training into that position. So training rotation is super, super important. Twisting over that side, isolating rotation through the mid-back. You're going to feel it in this general area. Using your obliques, some of the muscles that attach to your rib cage. Good, let's switch sides. Remember to switch your legs, unlike me. Perfect. Let's go 3 more. This is another kind of movement that people tend to feel a little cramp on, almost in there's like a stitch in their side. Try and work through that. Again, you're trying not to cheat with your hips. If you let your knees separate, you're going to get this false sense of rotation from your hips and kind of sitting and rotating through your hips. That's why you want to lock those in place. Look over as far as you can. I'll give you a sense of the kind of strain I want and how hard I want you to push. So what I'm going to do is talk through this rep, and as you can see, I'm not trying to strain my voice. However, you're pushing that hard, and you're putting yourself in that tough a position where you should almost feel like you are becoming a little bit strained. That's how you're going to make a change to your body, right? Pushing it past the limitation that you're not used to going. All right, let's get a little bit into the neck right now. So my favorite way to train the neck is with a prone chin tuck, and the way I like to say that is as if you're pushing your head back. I don't mean a chin tuck as in driving your chin down to your chest. Back, like you're trying to push back into something back here. So we're going to get prone, which means on our stomach. Elbows almost like a sphinx position, so hands flat on the floor, slightly propped up. Tuck up, rotate, extend back, come back down, make a full circle, relax, shake it out. Tuck, rotate, extend up, look the other way. Good, 10 down. We're gonna go 2 more going each way. This is another place where people tend to feel a little bit of pinching, maybe clicking, popping. Limit yourself to start, right? You don't have to push yourself into those extreme ranges of motion right away. Hopefully, as you continuously do these motions, you become better at them. Your body becomes adapted, and hopefully it gets away, it alleviates any lingering discomfort that you might have. Okay, so let's put it together like we have in a lot of our other videos. So let me just adjust this camera a little bit. This is going to be a full body mobility that'll get a little bit of hip too, but primarily spine. So you're going to get into a lunge, right? If my left leg is forward, here's what you're going to do. You're going to bring your arms up. Your left arm is going to try and reach back to your right ankle. You're going to look at your hand the entire time, and now look up the other way. Okay? Switching to the other side, I'll go this way. Right foot is forward, hands up. Right arm or hand tries to grab the left ankle. So you're going to push through this hip, you're going to twist, and you're going to sink. Now, I'm not coming anywhere close to my left ankle, but as you can see, right, you're going to get rotation, extension through the neck, through the thoracic spine. Good. So let's give it one more shot. We're going to go through 5 reps on the left. Come back. 5 reps on the right. Let me show you a little bit of a trick. If this is really, really tough for you, either on the legs or whatever, you're just going to get into a squat. Same deal. Left arm tries to reach back to right ankle. So I'll do 3 more here. If you want to do the other variation, you can keep doing that. I'll do 2 on this side, and now we're going to switch. Reach back. Good. You want to keep this good alignment. So like the knee, hip, and ankle all aligned. You don't want this to start happening. You're going to create a little gunked up hip doing that. So keep good alignment. Reach back. And again, here's that modified version. A little bit of an athletic stance. Reach back. Reach back. And last one. All right, folks, so there is the little short spine video that we did. Obviously, I have tons more exercises in my repertoire, but I think that really does a good job of hitting not only the different regions of the spine, but with different movements as you go. So, as always, reach out. I'd love to give you some extra tips if you're looking for some more exercises or different exercises. And awesome, hopefully you'll continue on to the next videos. Take care.